the computer's time and the phone's time is different by a lot. Usually they're connected to the internet, so they're supposed to be the same time on the phone and on the computer. But hey guys, welcome to another live session from NZ Pocket Guide, in which I usually wear a hat. That's better.
Usually we cover that monstrosity.
Exactly. So my name is Robin. This is Laura. We're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, and we are the best people in the house to answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. But why is that, Laura?
Well, as you already mentioned, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we are the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide because it literally has thousands and thousands and probably another thousands of articles all to do with traveling in New Zealand. So whether you're doing a couple of weeks on a camper van road trip, or whether you're spending a whole year doing a working holiday, whether you're a couple, whether you're a family, traveling solo, we cover all that good stuff on nzpocketguide.com. So make sure to go check that out if you do have any questions to do with traveling in New Zealand. But if you're not really into reading, well, we do this live Q&A session on YouTube at every single Sunday, 8 a.m. New Zealand time. And just so you know, for times around the world, there is a link in the description so you can see when our next scheduled video sessions are in your time zone. So that's a handy link to go and have a look at. But otherwise, if you are subscribing, you can click on the notification bell so that you know when our next live sessions are coming up. So what we do throughout the week is we take your questions in the comments section of any of our YouTube videos, so we can go through those questions during this live session as well. But of course, the best place to ask your questions right now is on the live chat, so ask away.
So yeah, that's how it works. You just put your questions in the live chat and we usually answer them, and we tend to read every single comment. So even if you just have some comments, you can go ahead and tell us what you have. We have Martina Sten that says good evening from Germany. Guten Nacht, I think. Good night, I think. Guten Nacht from Germany, Martina. Nice to have you on board another week. It's awesome to see you. AJ says, hi guys, I hope that the evening is good. Both are safe and enjoying life. Yes, we are. How is it going on your side, AJ? How is life on your side of the world? Clay Bryant says, morning all. If you guys don't know, Clay is a local. He's living in Dunedin and usually travel with an entire tribe, i.e. his family. Sherry Rushworth says, good morning. So Sherry is from Australia. She actually sent us a question with a map, a printed map. So I printed your map, Sherry. So we'll go over that today. That's going to be fun. Look at that. She was so prepared. She sent me everything. Wow. I love that. And Anthony Comstock says, Morena from California, USA. And if you guys are not sure what Morena means, it means good morning in Maori, which is the local indigenous language. We also have Kobus that says, hello from South Africa again. Hey, how is it going in South Africa? Alan Tickle says, hey guys, I would like to visit New Zealand and I'm from Sierra Leone. That's cool. Sierra Leone, like in the heart of Africa. That's awesome. And we have Martina that says, Guten Abend. Haha. I probably pronounced that terribly, but here you go.
I feel like they're teaching us the wrong thing in the schools, at least in the UK. They never taught us that one.
I didn't learn my German in school. I learned that around the backpackers of New Zealand, let's be honest. Around all the hostels.
Yeah.
All right. So quickly, a little bit of news before we start going with the questions while you guys are getting warmed up and start shouting some questions to us. First up, this week we did publish a video that you guys have been asking so much for, which is the pros and cons of life in New Zealand. So I was drawing, through my 10 years in New Zealand, giving you some pros and cons. I don't know if you guys did watch this video, but if you don't, definitely check it out. It's somewhere in the video of the channel. You can find that.
It's got your face on it. It's got
my face.
Yeah,
yes.
So
you can't really miss it because my face is quite recognizable. It's the face with the largest nose. So I hope that you guys did like that. If you did like it, or if you have some comments and everything, go ahead, tell us what you think about that. Also, it is World's International You Go Girl Day, which is celebrating women which are breaking the gender barriers. So here you go. It's Laura's day today. She has kicked my butt playing Tetris 99 when warming up for this session. So she definitely broke the gender barrier right here, because usually I do a little better than her, but she slashed me. And it's also World Obesity Day. So to celebrate that, we are going to
eat lots of cake.
No, we're going to go on a walk. We're gonna keep in shape. What the hell, Laura? So here you go. That is all the days. And when it comes down to news, not news about New Zealand. Something less. She's just having way too much fun. She's crying. She's gonna go pick up some cakes.
All right, let's continue.
So
let's not talk
news
too much about world obesity.
This is a serious matter. Anyway, New Zealand news though. So the borders are still closed in New Zealand, and we're still having the coronavirus under control. And one of the border that may be opening very soon is the Cook Islands. The Cook Island government has announced that maybe the borders are going to reopen with the Cook Island. What?
You're laughing with your eyes. Anyway,
I'm trying to talk.
Yeah, sorry.
The borders may reopen with the Cook Island within only a few weeks, so we'll keep you updated when that happens. That will be the first international border opening of New Zealand since the beginning of the crisis. So here you go.
Stop laughing.
I'm not laughing. You're the one that just wanted to stuff yourself. All right, Cobus says things are returning to normal again in South Africa. The curve flattened significantly and the border reopened again on the 1st of October. Oh, that's a great news. And Sherry says, Laura, cake is good.
It is
so
good.
Here you go. You get someone
That's
in your
why
corner.
it's the first thing I think of when we need to celebrate World Obesity
When I
Day.
breathe, when I wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
anytime,
It's
I
like,
just think of
cake for breakfast.
All right, guys. Okay, so we're going to go through Sherry's question. Now, if you guys found our video useful, or if you think that Laura should stop laughing at the thought of cake, make sure to hit the like button. It's a great way to say thank you for all our hard work. Anyway, Sherry sent us a question, Laura. Would you like to read the question and I'll show the map?
Sure. So we got a question from Sherry on YouTube saying, hey, Robin and Laura, I was wondering if you could help me figure out a route to take for a trip around the South Island. I'm looking at about 2 to 2.5 weeks, and I'm looking for a route where I won't be doubling back too much. I'll be traveling solo, and I'm not confident long-distance driver, so I can probably do 4 to 5 hours a day. I want to visit Christchurch, Queenstown, Tekapo, Wanaka, Franz Joseph, Dunedin, and Hokitika. I'll be doing a scenic flight to Milford Sound as well from Queenstown. Thank you.
All right, Sherry. So I really love the fact that you did send us a map right here. It's just really awesome, to see that you've done all your homework and you just want to see if we would want to, add a few things or not onto this itinerary. So what we'll be doing on this one, because Laura and I did look at the itinerary and we think it's really awesome kind of itinerary that you have together, is that we'll go through what you have right here and we'll add a few pit stops so like that you can break up the drive a lot. Since you say you're not really a confident driver, I would advise you to only drive maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours at most, and just kind of do something along the way. So we'll tell you what we will do in all those locations, and we'll also tell you a few pit stops along the way. And we'll start in Christchurch, and I think you're going to go from Christchurch. I think it's Christchurch.
Maybe that way.
Yeah. So we're going to go Christchurch, and then straight away you're going to go through the beautiful Southern Alps. So Laura, what would you do in Christchurch when you land over there, just to kind of beat the jet lag?
Yeah, so it depends obviously where you're staying. If you're staying in the city centre, then there's things to do such as the Canterbury Museum, which is free to go into, and it's an easy activity to get a little bit of history and culture about the region. And also there's the lovely botanic gardens right next to the museum, which is really nice to just wander around. They're really huge. There's lots of really cool features to see there. So that's like a relaxing way to sort of just spend I don't know, when you first arrive in Christchurch. But if you are kind of keen to get on the road and maybe do a quick road trip from Christchurch, then nearby is the peninsula of Akaroa, the Banks Peninsula. And over there, you can do it's usually more surrounding wildlife encounters. So if you're interested in doing sort of dolphin swimming or seeing little blue penguin colonies or going out on a wildlife cruise or anything, that's a really good place to do that, because I noticed on your itinerary, I don't think you're going up as far as Kaikoura. So if you were interested in having some sort of marine wildlife experiences, then nearby is Akaroa. So you could definitely do that if you're spending maybe 2 or 3 days in Christchurch.
All right, now Sherry is going to be driving all the way to the Glacier. So that's the big red line that I just made right here. So that's quite a long drive. What kind of pit stop will you do, Laura?
So that sort of road that's going across the South Island, that's going through Arthur's Pass, which is a really scenic drive and it's really fun to do. But I think it's definitely worth stopping, doing a couple of stops along the way to do some short walks. There's a walk on the way called the Devil's Punch Bowl, which is to a huge waterfall. So that's a good way to sort of break up the drive there. And hopefully on the way, you'll also get to see some kia, which are the world's only alpine parrots, and they're famous for sort of being really curious. And if you have your bag on the floor near them, they come up and try and peck all your bags and stuff, which is kind of cool to watch. And they also try and break the rubber seals from your car. So usually you don't do too much damage, but they try to do damage. But they're really cool. And so that's like, there's a couple of walks you can do in the Arthur's Pass. So be sure to do your research as well. See which types of walks you want to do and how long you want to spend doing that.
Because there are some really, really short ones. So
yes.
You just stretch your legs from the drive. And there are some multi-day ones. So obviously you want to pick the short ones to stretch your legs.
Exactly. So yeah, once you get across Arthur's Pass and you start traveling down south on the west coast, you are going to come across, well, Hokitika was on your list, but also the Punakaiki pancake rocks. Is that above or below Hokitika?
I think so,
yeah. So the Punakaiki is a really, really small village, but it is famous for its pancake rocks, which
it's rough estimate of where it is.
Yeah, which is known for its this limestone formations, which are stacked to look like pancakes, and that's a really short walk to do. I think it's officially 20 minutes, but if you were to sort of walk around fast, it would take you 10 minutes. But you probably want to spend 20 minutes sort of looking at the scenery and stuff like that. It's even a good place to stop overnight if you wanted to, because they have some really nice accommodations over there, things that are quite unique. Another thing you can go and do over there is the Punakaiki Cavern, which is a very small cave to explore just off the highway as well.
Yeah, that's only like let's say 10-minute walk as well. The Punakaiki Cavern, it's really, really small.
Yeah.
All right, so we are at the glaciers right now. I'm going to circulate in green. Laura, talk to us a little bit about the glaciers.
Didn't she say she wanted to go to Hokitika?
Maybe
that's Hokitika.
That's Hokitika. Sorry, that's Hokitika.
Yeah, so in Hokitika, I'm sure since it's on your list, you already know what you want to do there, but just for a couple of ideas, you can spend the whole day doing greenstone carving. There's a company called Bones and Stones where you spend the whole day sort of designing and carving your own greenstone pendant, which is a really cool activity. And we do have a video on this channel of us doing that. Just for a few quick sightseeing you can do in the area, you can go to Hokitika Beach where they have some amazing driftwood art, and you can see that it's best to see that during the sunset. Hokitika is really famous for its amazing sunsets. Also nearby is the Hokitika Gorge, which is a beautiful scenic area with vibrant blue waters going through this river gorge, and that's a short walk to access, so that's really cool to see as well. And also nearby is the West Coast Treetop Walkway, or Tree Walk, or something like that. But basically, it is a walkway that is elevated up in native forest, so you get to see some of New Zealand's native forest in a very different perspective. And again, we have videos on that as well, and on Hokitika Gorge. So you can see us doing all these activities when we've been traveling around New Zealand. So that's basically the best place to sort of have a look and see if that's the sort of activity that would appeal to you. So yeah, that's Hokitika.
Yeah, and Sherry says that, yes, she wants to do the Greenstone Carving in Hokitika because she got the idea from us.
Oh, nice.
Okay, then she's going to go all the way to Wanaka, but she's going to stop at the Glacier.
Okay, so
the road to from Hokitika to Wanaka is the green line, and the Glacier is about the second green circle.
Yeah, so hopefully the weather is good if you are wanting to do a heli hike on the Franz Josef Glacier or the Fox Glacier. But that's one of the sort of highlights to do in the area, is to take a helicopter and do a sort of walking tour on a glacier with crampons on and all the right gear, and that's a really cool experience. But alternatively, it's one of the, well, in our opinion, one of the most scenic places to do a skydive in New Zealand. But there's other things to do in the area as well. There's a ton of walks. There's the Franz and Josef Glacier hot pools, and there is multiple different walks in the area. Last week we were talking on this live session about some white herons at the Okarito Lagoon.
Okarito Lagoon.
Okarito Lagoon. So that's nearby. You can go and see some very rare birds there. There's also Glacier Country Kayaks. So you can go do kayaking on a very reflective lake, which makes you have some amazing photos. So that's all to do in Franz Josef. There's loads of options to do there, and in the nearby Fox Glacier township as well. You can stop by in Fox Glacier to do a walk around Lake Matterson, which is well, to get to the main viewpoint, it takes maybe about an hour on the way there and back, or you can do a whole loop around the lake. So that's another sort of good way to have a pit stop as you're driving down to Wanaka. And this is actually quite a long drive, because then you need to go through Haast Pass. Again, lots of reasons to stop through Haast Pass. There's the Blue Pools of Haast, which, to be fair, they're very similar to Hokitika Gorge in the type of scenery that it is. So you might want to choose either between Hokitika Gorge and the Blue Pools of Haast if you're on limited time. Otherwise, there's Thunder Creek Falls in the Haast Pass, and there's Fantail Falls. Lots of different waterfalls that you can see along the way. And then you'll be getting to the area of Wanaka, where you get to do a nice scenic drive along Lake Hawera, and then finally to Lake Wanaka, where I'm sure you've got lots of stuff planned in Wanaka. So yeah, shall I get on to some things you can do in Wanaka as well?
Yeah, go ahead for Wanaka. I'm going to circle it.
Yeah. So in Wanaka, it's another place where you can do skydiving. There's brewery tours there. There's obviously the scenery is the main attraction of the area. It's a very scenic town. There's that lonely Wanaka tree you can go take a photo of on the lakefront. There's the very popular Roy's Peak Walk, which is probably one of the most popular sort of hikes in the area. Make sure to get there early because the car park usually gets quite full. But there's also a ton of other walks in the area as well. There's the Mount Iron Walk, which is closer to town and gets you another cool viewpoint as well. So yeah, that's just some quick things to do in Wanaka. But I feel like there's actually some more sort of, I wouldn't spend a crazy amount of time in Wanaka, maybe 1 or 2 days. I feel like Wanaka's a really popular place on the itinerary for most people because they see lots of scenic photos from there. But in terms of things to do, I feel like people are often surprised that there's actually more things to do in other areas of New Zealand.
Wanaka should be a one-night stop, in my opinion.
Yes.
So after Wanaka, you're going to be moving all the way to Queenstown.
Yeah. So
that's the blue road, and the blue circle is Queenstown.
Wait.
No, did I do wrong?
Yeah, Queenstown.
Oops, sorry. This is the wrong one.
That's Tekapo.
I know I'm seeing the map the wrong way around, if you guys see. So I do mistakes when I do that. So it's the blue, light blue.
Goes
Let's go
to
with
D.
the light blue.
Yeah. So Queenstown.
Sorry. My bad. This one here.
Obviously, Sherry on her itinerary has said that she's going to be doing a scenic flight from Queenstown to Milford Sound, which is actually a really good idea because otherwise driving or taking the bus is like, it's a full day. It'll take you about 12 hours to do the whole thing if you're going there and doing a cruise as well. So if you're not really into long distance driving, then basically doing a scenic flight is the perfect way to do it. And obviously the flight over there will be absolutely incredible with the scenery. And so that's the perfect way to sort of experience Milford Sound if you are not really into lengthy drives. But also in Queenstown, if you don't already know, it is the adrenaline capital of New Zealand. So you can do bungee jumping, skydiving, whitewater rafting. There's about 5 different jet boat companies. And we have done a ton of activities on this channel in Queenstown. So you can check out loads of different activities that we've done. Zip lining as well. There's the luge, the gondola. A ton of stuff to do in Queenstown. You just have to sort of take your pick. There's something to suit most people. There's also wine tours if you're a bit of a foodie. But yeah, let's just wrap up Queenstown. There's a lot to do there. So you're sure to find something to suit you. Okay, so after Queenstown, we are going up to Lake Tekapo.
Yeah. Lake Tekapo right here. So before Laura gets started, I will say that because you want to go to Dunedin, which is right here, that would be a lot of extra drive just to see Lake Tekapo. So I feel that personally, I would not to drive to Lake Tekapo. I wouldn't do that. I would take a scenic flight. There are some Southern Alps scenic flight available from Queenstown that will actually save you a lot of time, but also save you a lot of money because you have all the gas and then coming back and all that. So I will personally do skip that altogether and just do a scenic flight, and you see it from the air. It looks fantastic. You get to see even much more of that. You get to see the Tasman Glacier as well. You get to see a lot of things. So I may just skip that and go straight to Dunedin and spend more time in Dunedin. I think that adding that much drive just to see Lake Tekapo is just a little too much. That's only my personal opinion. And Laura will tell more when she gave her opinion. But just when looking at the map right now, that's the first thought that I had was I think I would remove Tekapo.
Yeah, and also on your question, you said you don't want to do a lot of backtracking, but right now, obviously, there is a lot of backtracking. If you're going up to Tekapo, then back down to Dunedin, and then back up north. So yeah, it's usually, I think it would be better to sort of do a loop from Wanaka down to Dunedin and then loop your way back up to Christchurch. But yeah, so where are we now? So Lake Tekapo, if you do actually decide to spend some time in Lake Tekapo though, obviously the scenery is the main attraction there. You get to see the Church of the Good Shepherd, which is a big photo spot and usually very, very busy. So yeah, good to get there early before lots of people arrive. But also there's jet boat tours. There's the walk up Mount John. If you're staying overnight, there's the Earth and Sky stargazing tour because they have an observatory there, and Lake Tekapo is part of a dark sky reserve. So you can do some amazing stargazing there.
But to be fair, there is some amazing spots to experience the dark skies in Dunedin. You know, you can just drive a little bit out of the city and have some fantastic evenings there.
Yes.
And there is no observatory, but you still love it.
Yeah,
anyway.
well, you'll even find, even when traveling down the west coast, for example, if you get a clear night and just look up, the stars are amazing. It just doesn't have that that area doesn't have the label of being an international dark sky reserve, but it's still pretty much, the stars are usually pretty amazing on the west coast as well. So yeah, Lake Tekapo, that sort of sums Lake Tekapo up. Although it is a huge name as a destination in New Zealand, it's also one of those places that doesn't have a crazy amount of things to do because it is a very small town. But I have given you a couple of things to do in terms of the jet boat and the stargazing tour.
All right, the second road and the circle right here is Dunedin.
Yeah, so Dunedin has plenty of stuff to do in the city itself. It's got amazing architecture. It's got a couple of really cool free museums, the Otago Museum and the Toitū Museum, and I recommend checking both of those out. They don't have the railway anymore, so that's a shame. But I also recommend while you're there to go onto the Otago Peninsula. Now you can travel there independently and, for instance, visit Penguin Place or the Royal Albatross Centre and do a couple of really cool wildlife tours there, just sort of in those areas. But a really cool tour that we found was the Elm Wildlife Tour. I've taken it twice actually because I found it so cool. Where they actually pick you up from wherever you're staying in Dunedin and take you on a trip around the Otago Peninsula to see lots of different areas of wildlife that you probably wouldn't think to go check out yourself. They take you to some wetland areas to see some really cool birds, but they also take you to a private conservation area where they have yellow-eyed penguins, they have blue penguins, they have sea lions, seals. So that's a really good comprehensive tour to see some different areas, basically of the Otago Peninsula and see lots of different wildlife.
Nice. And now we're going to be driving from Dunedin. I'm going to put it in green again. From Dunedin all the way back to Christchurch. Where should we stop along the way, Laura?
Ooh, that is a long, long drive.
Yeah, so we definitely need to break that up.
Yes.
So that's the green... can you point it?
Yeah. So
green drive right here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would even break up this sort of drive maybe with another overnight stop. So on the way up, Timaru is a quirky town on the east coast and famous also for its blue penguins. Actually, there's a place called Caroline Bay, and on the evening you can watch penguins coming across the beach and going into their nests, which is pretty cool. But
I'm circling Timaru for you guys.
Yeah.
Great.
So what else on that side? We have Ashburton, which is famous for the Ashburton Domain. It's a park. You can, yeah.
I think Timaru is the strongest.
Yeah.
I think Timaru is the strongest speed stop.
Yeah. So I mean, to be honest, this side of the or maybe the Moeraki boulders.
Yes.
Moeraki boulders are on there as well. So when you're traveling maybe about an hour north of Dunedin, 1 or 2 hours north, I can't quite remember, there's the Moeraki boulders, which are these famous sort of perfectly spherical boulders on the beach, and they're best seen at low tide. Don't make the same mistake we did, and we just went at any old time and we're like, where are the boulders? And they've kind of been splashing under the waves, but we still got a video of it, so you can go check that out. Also on that side is also Oamaru, which is actually, that's a really cool town to stop in. I definitely would recommend Oamaru. It has Steampunk HQ, which is probably one of the quirkiest sort of attractions, but it's if you know what steampunk is, there's a whole sort of museum dedicated to it and has some really crazy sort of inventions and stuff in there. Also very famous for its blue penguin colonies as well. Yeah, and Oamaru's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, an alternative, I'll just wrap up quickly with an alternative route you could be taking. So you could be going from Dunedin, and somewhere around here where Oamaru is, you have the Waitaki Valley, which will take you back inland, and yeah, back up to Lake Tekapo, and then from Lake Tekapo, you can make your way to Christchurch from there. Robin will just draw a quick, a very rough looking road.
Right, that's the black section.
Yeah, so that maybe I would just maybe swap some of your destinations around when it comes to Dunedin and Lake Tekapo. So yeah, remember you go from Queenstown down to Dunedin, up to Oamaru, then back inland to Lake Tekapo, and from there to Christchurch.
But again, in my opinion, I will actually skip Lake Tekapo. I will experience the night skies in Dunedin. Yes, you don't have the observatory, but I think that's okay. And another thing is that when you're going to be in the French Joseph Glacier, you will be kind of stuck over there until the weather is good enough for you to be able to do the activity, which is the heli hike, because it's kind of one of the highlights on your trip. But the good thing is that you will be able to kind of do all those other activities that Laura mentioned kind of last minute. They're very used to it. They basically only get fully booked when the weather is bad. So that's absolutely no problem to go book the hot pools or go to the Kiwi house, at last minute. That's absolutely no issue. Anyway, I hope that was useful. I hope that if you're watching this video as a replay and your name is not Sherry, this kind of relaxed 2.5 weeks trip around the South Island is very useful to you guys. If it is, make sure to hit the like button. It's always a free way to say thank you for all the hard work, and hit the subscribe button, because YouTube is harassing me to actually get people to subscribe more to the channel, because we just don't say that. We just give good information and we don't tell people what to do. So do that. Anyway, let's go back to the live chat. Okay, there's a lot of questions right here. We are going to be reading everything. Don't panic, guys. Sometimes just get sidetracked with the question, especially when it comes from Sherry's, because she comes here all the time. So we want to do a good job. What do we have? AJ say, I think most people have the same question. When will the border open for everyone? AJ, the border of New Zealand are currently closed, and we have a video on the channel with our prediction. We will update this video at the end of this month, because we are electing a new prime minister this week. I mean, next Sunday, we are electing a new prime minister, and therefore their policy may completely change. And we don't want to make predictions that will literally be obsolete in 1 week. So once we have a new prime minister and we know what their policy is going to be, we will be able to tell you. But so far, we are sticking to the current predictions we have, which is, not before the first 3, 4, 5 months of next year. Fua Hang Peng says Cook Island open to Singapore. Oh, that's cool. That's nice. Well, Cook Island is about to open to New Zealand soon, so fingers crossed. Varun says, guys, I started following your channel recently, and I must say you guys are doing an amazing job, and you look very cute together. Cheers, keep smiling. Oh, that's nice. Varun also says, your comment for staying in Nelson for a family of 4, please. More for the cost of living and education for children. So we have no idea about education for children, right? We don't have kids and we are a travel channel here. So for when it comes down to the cost of living, you should check out my video about the cost of food in New Zealand. I actually did an update video about that literally this month. So you may want to check this one out and we'll tell you a little bit more about all of that. You can also check out my pros and cons of living in New Zealand, in which I discuss also the cost of housing in New Zealand. So that may be really helpful to you. Aside from that, specific to Nelson, we obviously have traveled a lot in Nelson, but we don't have any specific information on Nelson. Peptis Nobody says, hey guys, just tuning in. Sorry I'm late. No worries. Glad to have you another week on board. That's awesome. Sherry says, yes, she wants to do Greenstone Carving in Hokitika because she got this idea from us. It's an awesome thing to do in Hokitika. Really really loved it. Yeah, that was really cool. What else do we have? Team Lusty says, hello from Nepal, a small country with natural wonders. Nice. Nepal is the India. This is the gateway to the Himalaya, right, Nepal? Awesome. Peptis Nobilis say that this itinerary sounds adventurous. Yashwin says, I'm Yashwin from India. I'm interested to play cricket in your country. Which cities will be suited to settle to play? I don't know. We are a travel channel here, so we're not a sports channel and we're not an immigration channel. So I will say Christchurch. There is a lot of fields nearby, so maybe people play cricket around the fields.
I've seen people playing cricket in Auckland as well.
Yeah. Sherry says, do you know if many of those... Yeah, I already answered that question for you during the video, Sherry. Placid says, greeting from Cameroon. Oh, nice. Another African country. Cool. I love it. You guys are doing a great work. Good mentoring of people. Thanks. You're very welcome, Placid. Awesome. Yashwin says, please help me. I'm interested in cricket. Willing to play for New Zealand. Is possible to play there? I don't know. You may want to contact the New Zealand Cricket Association, perhaps. Fua Hangpeng says, when is Cook Island open to Singapore? Okay, we are New Zealand Travel Channel here, so we don't have information about Cook Island. Martina says, I can definitely recommend a heli hike in French Joseph. I did it in March as well as Roy's Peak. Nice, yeah. The heli hike in French Joseph is absolutely fantastic. And did you have to queue to take your picture in Roy's Peak, or was it kind of a quiet day for you? Because sometimes you go to Roy's Peak and you literally have to line up to be able to take your shot. It's quite amazing. Clay says, we went to the waterfalls of New Zealand website when we do the West Coast earlier this year. I think there was about 12 on the Haaspas alone. Yeah, the Haaspas, especially, you know what I love is driving, around the Southern Alps. So especially the Haaspas when it's raining. When it's raining, you literally have like hundreds of waterfalls on every side of the road. It's so fantastic.
Yeah.
Actually, if you want an idea of that, you can check out our video when we did Milford Sound under the rain. And it's so fun. You see us on a boat, and that's about the same thing when you drive Haaspas, right? You have the same kind of similar massive mountains, and you have hundreds of waterfalls around. It's absolutely amazing.
That was really cool.
I love the South Island under the rain. I know I may be one of the odd one outs that I think traveling under the rain is fun, but it makes everything look so alive. I absolutely love it. Sherry is thanking Clay for the information. She also tells us one of the reasons she wanted to Tekapo was for the Dark Sky project. So yeah, that's cool. Well, you can experience nightlife, the night skies in Dunedin. But yeah, if you do want the tours where you have the observatory and everything, this would be fun in Tekapo and in Mount Cook only. So yeah, then you may want to go there. Koti Passadore give us a
nice little heart face man.
A heart face, that's what it is. Okay, I thought it was a Wi-Fi man. I thought the stuff on top was a Wi-Fi.
Maybe he's coming out of an egg. I don't know.
Sush says, hi, Robin and Laura. How are the jobs opportunity in Dunedin and Invercargill? Plentiful.
Yeah, pretty good.
There is a lot of jobs around there. I hope you did like the pros and cons video that we did for you. Ross Benton says, greeting from Niagara Falls. I think I asked you last time, but I forgot. Are you on the Canadian side or the American side of Niagara Falls? I forgot already. I need to hear things like 2 or 3 times, and then I remember. I remember that Sherry is from Australia. I remember that Martina is from Germany now. I remember Clay is from Dunedin. I just need the same thing multiple times, and then it catches on. Speaking of Clay, he said Allen's Beach and Hopper Inlet are great for wildlife.
Yes.
And stargazing at night, popular for catching aurora if the conditions are good. So here you go, Sherry. You got an advice from a local because Clay is actually from Dunedin. And so he will send you to Allen's Beach and Hopper's Inlet for you to get the auroras and to get some awesome nightlife. Ooh, 17 viewers, 17 likes. You guys are amazing.
Ooh.
Thank you very much for clicking like. 19. The 2 new guys that just popped in. There's 2 of you that literally just started watching us. If you want to click like, then we have the same amount. It's awesome. Laura Anderson says, do you know when visas will open for skilled workers? So what's happening right now with Immigration New Zealand is that they are not processing any visas for people which are outside of New Zealand. If you are in New Zealand and they're kind of trying to sort out situations for people that can't get home and all of that, but if you're outside of New Zealand and not processing any visas, just because they're too busy with processing visa to people inland, and also because they are applying a lot of COVID-19 rules, meaning that they can only work at reduced capacity. We are not expecting Immigration New Zealand to kind of re-accept application until there is a definite date on when the borders will reopen, because they don't want to issue visa to people without them having any ideas of when they can come to New Zealand. And for this reason, it's really up in the air. So you can watch our video when we project the border opening, and so then you can tell that they probably will start working on the application probably a month before that, and that's pretty much it. That's our gut feeling. Obviously, there is no official information, so don't take that as a rule of law or the spoken of God. It's not that at all. It is just our gut feeling on that. So I think there is quite a while to wait until visas are getting worked again. MB is on board. So MB, he's living in Wellington. He's another local. So he's going to be probably answering a lot of questions to you guys on the live chat. He likes to do that all the time. Welcome on board, Kaora. And he say a like button hit. So that's awesome. Thank you very much. Sherry Rushworth. Sorry. Oh, the last name. I always butcher it. She said, that's great, guys. Thank you so much. I'll have to rewatch it later to write everything down. Yes. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually also going to post this video again on the channel. You know, I like to cut them in smaller version and, just more digestible bits of information. So, we talked to you guys for an entire hour and it's hard to skim and find everything. So I like to kind of do a little bit of snippets for you guys throughout the week. So I will republish that sometimes in the next couple of weeks when I have a spare minute. Clay says the Otago Museum has a planetarium that has a daily show of what you will see in tonight's sky. Yeah, that's actually really fun. You get in and there's even like spoken words and everything. They tell you everything that you can see. And then you get out of the museum, you wait at night, you go to one of those awesome spots with no light contamination and you're ready to look. And then everything is cloudy up there. It happened to me, and that's so much fun.
The planetarium is a good place for a nap as well. I found it very, very soothing.
it puts Laura like really snoozy, those kind of things.
Because you're just sort of like looking up at the sky. You're like, it's better than a spa.
So if you are in a planetarium in New Zealand, you start hearing snoring. That usually means Laura is in the crowd. Anyway,
yeah.
So when you go to the planetarium, it tells you everything that you're going to see in the sky, but obviously there is no clouds because it's a simulation, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of really cool in case you won't have a good night sky. But yeah, since you are into night skies, Sherry, maybe that's a good thing to do. So you go to the planetarium during the day, you check out, and then after you go to Allen's Beach or Hopper Inlet and check out what the guide told you to look at. And and wake up Laura if you see her sleeping in the planetarium. MB says the borders are closed to all countries that have contaminated COVID-19, blah, blah, blah. The cost of food was a good video. Oh, thank you very much for that. So yeah, I will update that regularly. I probably will be doing a video with the cost of food in New Zealand supermarket to give you an idea of the cost of life in New Zealand, probably every 6 months. So I'll do that twice a year, I think, from now on, because I heard you guys and it's good feedback. Varun says he already seen the video I suggest, so that's good. MB is saying that there are cricket clubs all over the country, even in small towns. So that's for you. That's for you, Yashwin, that you wanted to play cricket. And say in New Zealand, which PG college is famous for studying MBA? So again, we're travel channel, so we'd like to focus on like travel stuff or general life in New Zealand, but anything to do with studies or anything like that, we're not expert to that. And we really work hard on this channel to just tell you things that we know, right? You saw us when we were answering Sherry's question, right? I made a mistake. Laura calls it out straight away, right? So we really kind of make sure that we give you information that we know about. We call each other out if we make mistake, and it's okay for us to make mistake, and we always correct ourselves. But we're not giving you information on things we don't know about. There's so much information, misinformation online. There is so many people that talk about things they have no idea about. We don't want to be that. So that's why most of the time we tell you that that we don't know that, or
we're not going to even attempt to answer things that we're not sure on.
So it's not because we don't like you that we don't talk about immigration. That's because we legally don't have the right to, and also because we're not immigration experts. And that's not because we don't like you that we don't tell you how to settle with kids somewhere or how to find a job, in NBA of cricket or anything like that. We know nothing about that.
Yeah.
Cobus says, the way you are describing some of the scenery in New Zealand is making me have serious FOMO.
Oh.
Did you actually watch, Cobus, did you watch the video series that we did, which is New Zealand's biggest gap year? It's a video series that is about 400 videos long, so it will keep you busy. But we did a challenge, which we spent 365 days in New Zealand doing 365 activities. So we do so many activities. There is actually more than 300. There's close to 400 activities during the video, and we do so many activities around. So if you want to sure FOMO, check that out and watch us awkwardly go around, because obviously we were younger and we were quirkier, so you can check that. And
or we could just describe the New Zealand scenery in a different way if you prefer, and we could just tell you how crap it is.
But it's not, so there you go. Since we don't lie, and I expect we don't lie, we're not going to say that. Ross Benton says he's on the New York side. Okay, so he's US side of the Niagara Falls. I will try to remember, Ross. Quiz me next week.
New York side, not the US side. He probably doesn't want to be associated with the rest. Just New York.
Just New York. Okay. Frankie says, did you guys watch IPL? If yes, which team are you guys supporting? So we don't watch much sport because we're kind of busy. And the truth is, we actually don't have TV. We spend so much time online and everything that we feel like we like to spend more time doing something else than TV. So there is a TV screen in our home, but that's usually to play video games. This afternoon, we're actually taking the afternoon off, but we're actually going on a hike. So that's more what we do. So I don't really know. I guess IPL is one of the sports. I just don't know which one.
Judging by the context, I'd say the IPL is one, something to do with sports.
Yes, I think International League.
Pikmin League.
Pikmin, yes. Is it Pikmin League? International Pikmin League, maybe.
Poker. International Poker League.
I don't think they play poker in teams. I don't think they play in teams. Sherry says, if you don't mind me asking, which Greenstone Carving... with the Greenstone Carving, how long did it take and how much was it? I saw on the website the price from Okay, so the one we did took us pretty much the whole day, right?
I think it took us about 5 to 7 hours.
Yeah.
Because also the guy that we did it with he's quite a relaxed dude. It's not like a full-on experience or where you're just like, going go for the whole time. You do a bit of designing here, then you sit down for a coffee, then you do bit of carving and blah 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 and have some lunch, and then at the end of the day just like, all right, let's finish it off, blah blah blah, it looks good, and then we go. So it's kind of like it
really could have taken 3 hours, it took between 5 and 7. Like when I say it took the whole day, literally, like, so when we did New Zealand's biggest gap year, we did one activity a day, right? So we woke up in the morning, we did like all the video editing and everything, and all the because we also did like vlog versions of the videos and everything. So we did all that, and then I think we showed up. I try to remember because that was a couple of years ago, but I think we showed up over there about like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And then, first up, he gave us like a whole introduction on the whole carving and everything. We showed him the design that we came up with, and they were very complex. And I wish we came up with something way simpler. So if I can give you an advice, Sherry, way simpler, way better.
Yeah, he'll still, even if you have something complex, he'll like do his best to actually make that happen for you. And even if you screw up when you're carving, like Robin had a bit of a screw up, but he saves it for you as well. So.
No, mine was perfect. Thank you for selling me out right here. No, mine was fantastic. Then after he took the whole time, and he was taking like breaks, like about every hour he was taking a break. So that was kind of a relaxed day experience. That was quite cool.
So for this experience, I wouldn't plan anything else to do in the day. Just plan for you doing your greenstone carving, and then you can plan something on the evening, but basically just leave sure that the day is free basically to do that.
Cool. And then for the price, I think ours was about $200, something like that, like $200. It depends. I think it depends on the size of the stones and all of that. So I think that was about $200, but I can't remember right now. But that was around that realm here. Ross Benton stayed the word Stewart Island.
Good place.
Okay, that's an awesome place.
Yeah.
Very awesome to visit. We do have many videos of Stewart Island. Stewart Island includes Ulva Island, which is a very small island, about literally 2-minute boat from Stewart Island, and it's Laura's favorite activity in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So Sherry is asking, where are you hiking to? We are not sure yet, but I want to see birds. So I want to go somewhere inside the forest, and Laura wants to see a mountain. So she wants to go somewhere near a volcano. So I think we're going to have to play one of our board games, and the winner is going to decide where we go. That's usually how we deal with these kind of issues. But no matter what, it's going to be an awesome hike. Frankie said it's okay. It was the Indian Premier League in cricket. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, we do not watch Indian cricket. I did when I lived in Australia. Some of my Australian mates took me to a cricket game, and then I realized it took that many hours, and I was bored out of my mind when I finished stuffing myself with hot dogs and drinks and everything. So I ended up just ordering beers after beers after beers, and it was just a day of like just laughters and drinking because I just could not stay focused on that game. It just was way too slow for me. It's obviously just my own perspective. A lot of people love cricket, and that's absolutely fine. But for me, I just could not keep up with it. It was just so... and they were just saying numbers all the time, and I have no idea what any of those numbers means. And oh my Lord, that was just a long day. But in the stands, people were having a blast, and some people tried to explain to me, but I was like 5 or 6 beers in at this point, so I had no idea. So I was just kind of like sleeping on my seats, and that was okay.
My favorite thing about going to see sports games is going to get the hot dog at halftime.
Yes. I was going that hot dog at any time, and it was just so slow. I felt like when I was leaving and coming back, nothing has changed. The guys didn't move from where they were standing. I really did not get it. I think one day I should actually just kind of watch a 101 of cricket just to have a bit of an understanding about what that is, but I just couldn't keep up with that. It's just like, oh my Lord. Cobus says, oh my God, I will start it now. So he's referring to New Zealand's biggest gap here, and you guys still look young. And he says, not now, but after the live session. Yeah, no worries. So find a playlist on the channel that has like 385 videos or something like that in it, and that's the playlist. And I put everything in order. So if you click on play, it's going to start for 1 and it's going to finish far, far, far in. And yeah, you're going to see us learn about living in a camper van and everything along the way as well. It's quite entertaining. John Doe says, would you rather drop kick a toddler in public or broad daylight, or take a right hook from Prime Mike Tyson? If you get the right hook from Prime Mike Tyson and that was uncalled for, you can sue him for millions. So that may be worth getting a punch in the face.
I feel like I don't know how to drop quick kick well enough for a toddler, so I don't have the
well
skills.
Enough. You are scared they will stay nearby. You're evil today.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'll go for the Mike Tyson one, and I think Laura also will go for Mike Tyson. She wouldn't hit a baby. She's just making jokes.
Toddler's a baby. They're practically grown up by that point. They can handle themselves.
Wow. Strong words by sassy Laura today. So Akbar says, hi, when the border of New Zealand opens with Malaysia, rewind the video. We talked about the border opening a little bit earlier, but nowhere near soon. Our prediction, I think, for Malaysia was like around March or April. But we do have a full video with all our predictions, and you may want to check this one out. And you may want to subscribe to the channel because we will release an update to that video in about a month. At the end of this month, once the elections are over, which the elections are next week in New Zealand. Sherry says, even people in Australia find cricket boring. Oh, well, okay, that's just not me. Listen, sport is not for everyone. Rugby is okay. Things are moving a little bit fast. It's fine. I find soccer kind of boring as well. You just pass the ball to each other. It's like, there's not that many sports I'm really, really into, let's be honest.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I'm more into the hot dogs at halftime.
Sorry, do you want to talk about food more, Laura? Do you want to get back to the cake section of this
National
video?
Obesity Days.
God, can't let you go. Okay, Sam Maloney says, when do you think the border will open with US? Oh, okay. So Sam, we just talked about that a second ago, but so the New Zealand borders are currently fully closed. And we don't know what the policy is going to be next week because we are changing government. So we are electing a new prime minister literally next week. So we will release a video on that at the end of the month. So you may want to hit subscribe, Sam. And so like that, you will get an update when we do actually, update that video. But we do have a full video with our prediction that includes prediction for US, and it's on the channel right now. It's yellow and red, so you can check that thumbnail. It's somewhere in the video of this channel, and we go over all like in depth of how we made those predictions as well. So I think that may be quite interesting for you, Sam. Clay says on. I don't know why. Okay, we'll see that. Cobus says soccer is so boring. I agree. Well, here you go.
Yeah.
I think that you guys don't seem to be too much into sports. I think we only have Yashwin and Frankie, which are into cricket, which is absolutely fine. But aside from that, nobody is really into sport. What sports are you guys into? That would actually interest me. What's the Cobus? You said you're from South Africa, if I'm correct. What's the main sport in South Africa? The only thing I know about South African sport is that when there is a big event, you bring your vuvuzelas and you ruin commentary for everybody.
Isn't rugby quite popular in South Africa?
I thought it was. I thought the vuvuzela stuff was during the World Cup.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was football.
Football, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Football or soccer. I'm not sure. Rugby and cricket in South Africa, he said. So, no, okay. So no soccer. Okay, my bad. Okay, Haven Smith says, when do you think the border will be open for travelers from the UK? Haven, we do have a full video about the border openings on the channel, which we go into details about all our predictions. And I think we predict the UK for like March or April 2021. And we will update this video at the end of this month after the New Zealand elections. So if you want to subscribe to the channel, you get a notification. And we'll make a full update where we're going to redo our predictions for every countries. But I don't think, looking at the current polling on the election and who is likely to be elected, I think that we're even going to maybe push our prediction even further. So not good news. Oh, there you go. I don't know what that is. I have no idea, but I'm turning it off. Cobus says, we won the World Cup in rugby. Congratulations.
Don't you remember, Robin?
I know. Clay says, sometimes I think about drop kicking a toddler. If it's mine, you're talking about. Clay, love your kids. But I guess that traveling with that many kids around New Zealand may sometimes be challenging. If you don't know, Clay is a local and he's living in Dunedin and he has plenty of kids and he traveled around the South Island with them.
In a tent.
Which was nuts. Akshat Kumar says, is it true that reopening of the border is still unknown as both political parties are not interested in talking about it as it will affect their voter database? Very true indeed. So this is why we're waiting after the election to be able to update the video. But that's an astute observation. So good job, Akshat. Yes. Sam Maloney say, oh, cool. By the way, I love your videos and I watch every update you come out with. It gives me hope to visit my best friend in New Zealand. Oh, that'd be awesome for you to be reunited with your best friend. Hopefully that's going to be soon. I really hope that, if you're from the US, you guys get things under control and then you can get to travel around the world again. But it mostly depends. That's the thing. The border opening doesn't necessarily depend on New Zealand so much. So, a lot of people come to us and ask, when will New Zealand reopen the border? Well, it doesn't depend on us. It depends on, will you guys get the virus under control? When it's under control and you guys don't have cases anymore, then you can come. For example, New Zealand has said that they won't open the border to Australia. Australia has opened, some Australian states have opened the border to New Zealand. But the New Zealand government said, it's okay, you can open your border to us if you want to. But unless you have 30 days without community transmission, then we will not let you guys come in the country. So you have to keep that in mind. So it mostly depends on what your country is doing and what precautions you guys are taking, both on the countrywide, statewide, individual side. So it really depends on other countries more than on New Zealand at this stage. So that's the main takeaway from all the research we've been doing on the subject. And obviously, I'm not trying to point any fingers or anything like that, right? This is not what I'm doing right here. I'm just trying to give you context on why the predictions are so out there. So Cobus says in South Africa, they do have soccer as well, but he's not a fan. Okay, Sherry says, I say that I support rugby. I never watch the games. I find most sports boring. Well, Sherry, you and me
we
both.
can all say we're fans of things, but not actually
I'm super
like them.
fan. See, for example, Laura is super fan of cakes.
But I am a fan of cake, so that's different.
Okay, Akshat Kumar says, also keep the borders closed for this long is a huge economical loss for New Zealand. Yes, it is. So the New Zealand economy, number one provider was tourism. Well, no more, since obviously COVID-19 hit. The New Zealand economy has taken a massive toll. So yeah, it does hurt, but the New Zealand leaders have decided to put the people in front of the economy. So for this reason, they are hoping that jobs will be able to be found again, but lives will be safe. And so that's the strategy that they have decided to take, for the better and for the worse. That's their choice. And we as New Zealanders have to live with that choice that they made and hope that this was the right choice, because we entrust our leaders to take the best decisions for the people and for the interest of everybody at hand and not just a few individuals. So that's what we hopefully are, that's the choice that we hopefully are going to be happy to have made when looking back at this time of our lives within history. So we'll see. Honestly, I don't think anyone will be able to tell right now, this is, what is the right decision and what is the wrong one. But, with a bit of hindsight in maybe 10 or 20 years, we'll be able to look back and say, well, New Zealand made the right choice, or this country didn't, or New Zealand made the wrong choice and those country did, and we'll see how it plays out. But for now, that's the choice that New Zealand has made, and that's what we kind of have to deal with. Sam already talked about it. About Cobus and say, and the Vuvuzelas was only famous when South Africa did the Soccer World Cup in 2010. Here you go. I knew that was something to do with sports and Vuvuzelas. Clay says, not true, obviously, just to clarify in case people out there think otherwise.
Okay, so yes. Clay is confirming that he does not want to drop kick his toddler. That was only a joke.
I like you just make sure that it's clearly stated. It's the right thing to do, Clay. Just making sure, some information can go crazy online. You may have people going protest in front of your home. Yeah. So let's make that clear. Clay does not drop kick his toddlers.
And he can't drop kick. So that's my issue too.
Yeah. Laura is just afraid to miss a toddler. Okay, so what is Agnes Fury has to say to us? She said, I can't wait to see the border open because my wedding is on hold because my fiancé can't travel out of New Zealand. I can't wait to reunite. Oh, no. So you are away from your lover. Oh, my God.
Long-distance relationships are hard.
But at least, listen, I'm going to try to give you a silver lining, Agnes. At least you have plenty of time to plan that perfect wedding of yours. It gives you time on your hand. A lot of people that plan weddings, they always end up thinking, oh, my gosh, I wish I had one more week to plan my wedding. So here you go. You get one more year to plan your wedding. So that is a silver lining. I know it's kind of making do with the worst situation, but I'm just always trying to find a silver lining in everything, because it is quite easy nowadays to kind of feel all gloomy and feel like all hope is lost and all that. But it's not a situation that will last forever. It is it is just temporary, and it is for the greater good. I hope that all the governments have taken the right decisions, and also I really hope that this is something that we can look back in history and say we came together and we solved everything. So here you go. Hopefully it's for the better. Extreme Talota says, Morena, guys. Hey, mate.
Morena.
How are you doing? So if you guys don't know, Morena means good morning in Maori, which is the local indigenous language. And Extreme Talota is in the small town of Tokura on the North Island of New Zealand. And usually show up a little bit earlier than that. So it looks like you slept in a little bit today, didn't you? Okay, Akshat says, I totally agree. No amount can compensate for a loss of life. Cheers to New Zealand government for such a bold move. And thanks to you guys for replying with a big heart. You're very welcome, mate. So in this channel, we reply to every comment. So you guys can go ahead and, ask us questions about life in New Zealand and we'll reply to the best of our knowledge. By the way, thank you so much to the 28 people watching. This is rare that we have that many people. 28 is the big number. We usually have about like 20. So yeah. 29, look at that, guys. You guys are amazing. So if you guys want to hit the like button, it's a great free way to say thank you for all the hard work and answering all your questions. And if you don't feel like clicking to the like button, you definitely can click to the dislike button. It's fine. The only reason why I'm saying so much to you guys to click like or to subscribe is because, when you're a YouTube content provider, YouTube sends you like tips and everything. And it says, most people that watch your video don't like it or don't subscribe to the channel. So that means that your video are not yet that useful. And therefore, YouTube doesn't recommend them to people. So they keep on telling me, you need to tell people to like, because people don't like or don't subscribe if you don't tell them to do it. So the big YouTube gods tell me to do things. And so for this reason, I tell you to do things. So that's why I'm telling you that. Anyway, Akbar says, we are refugees in Malaysia. New Zealand accepts some families. We are waiting for 10 months. We want to know that government have any plans to resettlement. Ooh, I don't have any information about that at all, Akbar, sadly. But the only thing that we can tell you is that currently Immigration New Zealand, which I think are the people that also overseas resettlement, are not taking or working on any applications from people which are currently overseas. They're only working on people which are currently in New Zealand, just because since the borders are closed, they have no way to know, okay, I'm going to give them a visa. They can come to New Zealand, but the borders are closed, so they can't come to New Zealand. So they're not planning on working on people which are currently overseas until there is a firm date on when the borders reopen. So for this reason, I feel that we can't really answer your question. Leo Toledo came on board. Nice to see you. There's been a while we haven't seen you. Okay, where are we? Extreme Talota says, I'm good, guys, and now I've just got into Rotorua. Okay, so you're going to be referring a bit of rugby, I guess, today? MB says, Akbar, New Zealand is a good place to come if you are refugees. Yeah, it is a good place. It's just going to have to wait. This unfortunate COVID-19 situation is just putting us all behind schedule. Do you want to check what Paradis says?
Yeah, so Paradis says, once I came across a cow wandering on the road, looking to the sky. I went to it and asked, what are you doing on the road, boy? And it said, moon.
Paradis is always just outdoing him or herself with jokes. Every single week, he's coming with the stupidest joke he found on the internet that week. And I love that. So thank you very much for this moon-related joke. Paradis, you better come next week with another joke. Yeah. I'm waiting for it.
I hope it's better than that one.
And you guys better tune in next week for Paradis' next joke.
Yeah.
Will it be cow-related or will it be something else? Well, let's see. Let's see. Thank you for that, mate. I appreciate it. Anthony Comstock give us an ungodly amount of emojis to tell us to have a safe week and have fun, but he's still going to be watching until the end. Yeah, it looks like we're straying along a little bit longer than usual today. It's fine. If you guys still have questions, we'll stick around for another 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes. No matter. If you guys have questions, you know we're here for you. Leo Toledo says, hello, guys. Good morning. What is the most beautiful roads in New Zealand? That's an interesting question. Most beautiful road in New Zealand. I will have to pick Lindis Pass. I think it's a really nice road. It has one place to stop and take pictures. Don't stop along the road. It's famous for having tourists stopping along the road and taking pictures. So I really do like Lindis Pass, which is in the South Island of New Zealand. Which road will you pick, Laura?
I think I'll go for the Milford Sound Road. That's a lot to see along the way on the way to Milford Sound. There's beautiful valleys. There's amazing towering fjords and big mountains. And yeah, that's kind of like the dramatic scenery that New Zealand is famous for.
I'm writing this question down.
Which question is that? I can read it.
No, I'm writing Leo's question. I think it's a good idea. We may do a full video about that to give you like the 10 favorite roads and do a video about that for you, mate. So
yeah, we can go through a whole list of.
Yeah.
There's plenty of scenic roads. There's a whole ton.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we may actually just Leo, if that's cool with you, we'll do a bit of research just to make sure we don't miss any, and yeah, we may do that next week, or we may just do it record it before. We'll see. We'll see if we do it next week during the live session, so we had the time to do some research, or if we recording a video for you. I think that's a really cool question. Thank you for that, mate. I like it. Extreme Talota is the first game at 10 past 9. You have 6 minutes to start referring. What are you doing?
Do you need to do some warm-ups?
Yeah, you need to do stretches, right? Are you watching us while doing your stretches for the game right here? Or? Okay, MB says, I would rather take in more refugee than other type of immigrants. Well, here you go. That there is some.
You have the approval of MB.
Yeah, here you go. Everybody has different opinions on immigrations, and since it's a little bit political,
let's just sidestep and move on to the next question.
Exactly. So we always just answer questions. We are trying not to give our opinion. Clay say, since we're doing joke, should we ask Laura how we celebrate Obesity Day? Oh, come on. She's going to start talking about cake and drooling again.
I'm going to start laughing too much. And,
oh, my God. Yeah. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, rewind this live session from the beginning, where Dad mentioning a few international days that were happening, and it made Laura very hungry. Rohit says, who will win the election as per you guys? As per us, obviously, we don't know. We're not political insiders, but the polls are currently pointing out at Labour to be leading the next government. And Labour is the current government that we're having in New Zealand, which is led by Jacinda Ardern. But that's what the polls are saying. The polls are very often wrong. So, ask us the question. Well, not next week, because that's going to be literally the day of the election. But ask us the question, the following week.
After the fact.
Once someone has won. I don't like to make predictions. I think that, one thing that I think about politics, right, is that when you make prediction and when you publish polls and everything, a lot of people have like a bit of a herd mentality and tend to want to go with the masses. So it influences people into voting in a certain way. And I don't necessarily like that too much. Yeah. So I personally like
be your own person and follow your own beliefs and what you think is right.
Exactly. So I personally think that you shouldn't refer to polls. I don't necessarily think that media should put that much emphasis into polls and like publish polls on a daily basis. I just think that it shouldn't be part of the process. I think the policies and the implementation of policies should be what the focus should be when it comes down to politics, rather than who said what to whom and anything else. So we'll see what happens, and we'll have the result next week. And New Zealand has kind of a civilized way to deal with politics, so that's okay. Actually, I do talk a little bit about politics when in my video on the pros and cons of New Zealand, and I explained that I think the way New Zealand deals with politics is kind of really healthy, and I put that actually in one of the pros of living in New Zealand.
Wow.
If you haven't seen this video, it's rare for me to actually use politics as a pro for anything, because politicians are, inherently politicians. Wow, she speaks her mind today. So yeah. Anyway, check my video of the pros and cons of life in New Zealand. It's kind of interesting. 25 of you guys. That is awesome right now. Still asking questions.
People, 25 likes.
That means all of you guys clicked on the like buttons. You guys are amazing.
This is a well-balanced channel.
Yeah, you guys are absolutely fantastic. I love how you guys are hitting the like button to say thank you. It's just so good. Okay, so where are we? Clay says, since we are doing we're not talking about obesity day anymore, Clay. Laura is going to start crying and laughing again. Rohit says, we're done, right? Okay, Haven Smith, sorry. What travel insurance will you advise to take just in case the border are still closed on April 21, which is when I'm planning to travel to finally be with my lover? And are you French and British? Yes, I am British and Laura is French, or vice versa. That was my joke of the day for Paradis. Here you go. So yes, I'm originally French, Laura is originally British, but we now both are Kiwis. Which travel insurance should you take? So travel insurance are a very tricky business. There is a lot of things to take in consideration. So the one thing I will tell you is that on NZ Pocket Guide, if you go on Prepare Your Trip, there is a whole section on medical and travel insurance where we have multiple articles going in depth about New Zealand travel insurance, and we even give you some recommendation and some links to like the correct places and everything. So please, oh please, go on the website and read those. There is really all our research, and that will actually in depth answer your question, and it's made exactly for people that are traveling in New Zealand. So just check this one out, Haven. I think that'd be the best way to go forward for you, rather than just us putting out a couple of words right here without having enough information from you to give you advice. So I think you should go on nzpocketguide.com. There's a link in the description below. Then you click on Prepare Your Trip. And then I think it's on Essential. And then there is medical and travel insurance. And there's all our tips there. Even a list of questions you should ask your insurer before booking, before paying for your insurance, just to make sure that you're fully covered. So we've done all the homework for you there. Paradis says, no joking, serious stuff. Well, the car usually says moo. So I agree with that. It is pretty much serious.
Yeah.
Yes. MB says, Rohit, the Arden Labour government has a huge lead in the polls, but polls aren't that reliable. And then he says, polls are crap. I agree with you that polls are crap. But yeah, what the media are currently reporting is what I was saying, which is the Labour government led by Jacinda Ardern. So basically, MB agrees with what I said. Aldous Lai says, I had to cancel my trip earlier this year. Was going to go with a friend, but may have to go solo in the future due to scheduling. Is a solo journey manageable? Yes, definitely. If you're a girl traveling solo in New Zealand, Laura has a full video to help you with that. But other than that, is traveling solo in New Zealand an easy thing to do?
Very easy. I don't say most people, but as a huge amount of people come to New Zealand to travel solo, and that's how we both arrived in New Zealand. We were solo travelers as well, so it's arguably better to travel solo. Actually, you get to meet lots of other solo travelers as well,
and you don't have to deal with Laura.
You can do your own thing. You can do like whatever activities you feel like doing. There's loads of reasons to travel solo, and it's super fun, and it's a really friendly country as well. So when you're traveling around, if you don't want to be solo, you can always find other people to travel with. So yeah, all good stuff.
And the real reason why Laura loves traveling solo is that because she gets to eat the whole cake. She doesn't have to share it.
No one is judging me.
Extreme Talota says, see you next week. See you next week, mate. Enjoy the refereeing of the rugby. Rohit says, hopefully after the election, immigration will open for new students because I am one of them. Fingers crossed, we will do updates on this channel after the election. So around the end of this month, just, be aware that we will have some updates about the New Zealand border openings. MB is talking about COVID-19. Akshat says, is there any possibilities of visa extension for those who are not in New Zealand since the border ban started? There has not been talk about that just yet, Akshat. So we will do updates if we get some updates. Other than that, you can contact Immigration New Zealand directly by email, and you'll get an answer. And then Haven Smith said, when will you be next live? Well, here you go. That's a good question. We will be next live.
So in the description, we have a link to our next scheduled live sessions, which we usually...
next week, same time.
Yeah, so we do this every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. But if you want to know that when this is going to be in your country, we do have a link in the description below of the time in your selected time zones. So check that out to see when we are next live for you.
And Haven says, are you from France? Yes, I am from France. And is Laura from England? Yes, she is. So yes, we were born in those countries, but but then we are now Kiwis. Martina says, see you next week. Stay safe. Thank you very much for joining us, Martina. Again, there is plenty of links in the description of this video to help you guys plan your trip to New Zealand and give you more information in the meantime. And if you do have some questions for us and you do need some help to understand life in New Zealand or to travel in New Zealand, just put them in the comment of any of our videos. We pick them up and we answer them during our live session. It's always fun to answer all your questions. Benny says, just saying hi here from Cape Town. Someone else I may say. That's awesome. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us another week. You have been absolutely wonderful. I cannot believe we reached 29 viewers during this live session. That's absolutely fantastic. And remember, we are ever so close to reaching 20,000 subscribers. If we do reach, when we do reach 20,000 subscribers, we'll do extra long live session. We'll do some giveaways. We'll send you some gifts literally in your home. We'll play some games together. So, you guys get to get some gifts and everything. So if you want us to reach 20,000 subscribers faster, but first up, you can subscribe. And second, 31 viewers. We've never been to 31 viewers. Woo! Anyway, 31 viewers. That's amazing. So we're going to be doing some giveaways. It's going to be awesome. All you've got to do is to hit subscribe, or you can just share the channel so to get all your friends to subscribe to the channel. Again, when we're going to be reaching 32. Oh, my Lord, that's crazy. When we're going to be reaching 20,000 subscribers, we'll do massive giveaways. And, usually we don't even have 32 live viewers, right? Usually we have like 20. So you'll get a chance out of 20 to get a gift. And we're going to have more than one gift. We went to buy them. So we already have them over there in the other room. They're ready to be sent all across the world to wherever you are. We have had some people actually that got, if I remember, there was Kathy.
Yeah.
Kathy that got some presents. So we did do some giveaways a few times around. But MB says, you have done a video on New Zealand currency and payment methods. I actually don't know if we have.
No, not a video. No.
MB, I will write that as a good idea.
Yeah.
You guys don't want us to leave, do you? You keep on asking us questions and commenting. Do you want to read what people say? Well, I write that.
Sure. So we have Clay that says, have a good one, guys. And then we have MB, you're already doing that. Hi, Beverly, who's giving us a little peace emoji. And we also have Aldous saying, thanks, y'all. Keep it up. You're very welcome, Aldous. And I'm not even going to read the comment from Kobus right now because I cannot pronounce it. But I guess he's saying, see you next week. So, yep, see you next week, Kobus. And he said,
I want to try. Totsien Sienju Volgende week. I tried it.
I like a week is the same.
Yes. I like
this
the word
one I
week,
can understand. Yeah. And then we have Natalie saying, have a good rest of the weekend. And you too, Natalie.
Yeah, you too, Natalie. Thank you for taking the time to just say one nice thing. Okay, guys, it looks like we have to end this live stream. We spent an extra 15 minutes with you, so that's awesome. Remember, when we hit 20,000 subscribers, there's going to be something. I even going to be doing a video which is a little bit more personal, but something we really love, which is board games. When we hit 20,000 subscribers, and we'll talk about the best travel board games, the thing that we usually carry with us when we travel. So we have a lot planned when we hit 20,000 subscribers. So make sure you help us reach that